Hey everyone, David C. Anderson here, coming at you from the Knife Center, and Blade Show is right around the corner. We've actually got the first of the new releases available now. Available for order right now too at the links below. The company is Kershaw, and they have sent over 3 new knives that they will be displaying at the show. The first is a new automatic in the Launch series. This is the Launch 16, and this is the second new Launch model this year, and the second Launch model to diverge from the CPM 154 steel that the standard, or most of the lineup, has existed with since its inception. This is the Launch 16, if I hadn't mentioned it, but this is an M4 blade. So you've got outstanding toughness, and the whole knife kind of lives up to that. The M4 really serves the intended purpose of this, which is being a hard use, tactical style, but just heavy duty utility tanto shaped automatic. There you go. The blade length is about 3.5 inches, a very, I would say, everyday useful tanto shape. You've got a little bit of hint of curve to the leading edge. So if you like to use your tanto for super chiselly tasks, it's not perfectly straight, but it's also not a huge amount of belly on it too. So you can still do that stuff fairly well. High flat grind on the knife with a swedge behind it as well. Should be some pretty good geometry for slicing. And you've got some serrations there, partial serrations for the more fibrous materials. Again, kind of backing up both the tactical and kind of the utilitarian aspect of the knife. This is also the grippiest Launch knife to date because it still maintains the aluminum handle, but it also has a rubberized inlay on each side. They're calling it Track Tech, and it very closely reminds me of something like the Kershaw Blur, that kind of rubberized inlay that gives you that little extra bit of tackiness and helps you hold on to the knife quite well. There is a section of bare aluminum right underneath the pocket clip here, which is low profile, deep carry, and reversible. Works on both sides, and you can see the front side of this knife has a slightly more aggressive kind of checkered texture on the aluminum that's peeking through the inlay here at the center, and the pinch point of that clip looks like it should just hit the end of that. So no worries about the rubber snagging your pockets too much. The feel in the hand is great. Plenty of length on that handle, even for larger hands. If you're wearing a pair of work gloves, there's plenty of real estate right there. And then, of course, being a Launch series knife, it's got a push-button automatic action. That is as good as anything else out there for sure. Like it definitely, you may find some actions you think are better, but this is definitely toe-to-toe with some of the best in the industry. Absolutely. Price on this, I actually don't have the final pricing in front of me on the time we're filming this, but the full pricing will be available at the links below, and I should be able to get close here with my estimates anyway. This should be about $150. So it maintains that tradition of a made in USA automatic knife at a very attainable price. That's what the Launch series has always been about, and you've still got it right here. Next up, we've got a more budget-oriented model, one of their imports, and this model is called the Hatch, and it joins the similarly styled cargo and debris models, only now, of course, with this cleaver-shaped blade. And these knives, I think especially, hit a really nice value point in Kershaw's lineup. Price on this should be about $45. Again, final price will be in that link below. We've got an injection molded handle here with a decent amount of space. It's kind of a 3 to 3.5 finger grip, depending on your hand size, but it doesn't feel like it's squeezing out of your hand or slipping out of your hand. The shape is good, and you've definitely got enough traction there to keep a good grip on it. Mid-mounted back lock. I'll finish talking about the handle before I move up to the blade. Very deep carry pocket clip right there. You can see it sticks out past the end of the handle and even terminates just past the furthest back point of the handle as well. And this clip is reversible for either side, which is a good thing because all the rest of the controls, both to open and lock the blade, are completely ambidextrous. Moving up to the blade, it is about 3 1/8 of an inch long, or just over that, in fact. Not quite 3 1/4. Cleaver shape, as you can see, full flat grind as it gets out there towards the back, but then here closer to the heel, think of it something like the hinder or slicer grind you see on something like the ZT562, Kershaw's sister company, where the geometry is going to be a little stouter back here and a little more steep as it gets out towards the tip. Little bit of a kind of a fool the eye thing there though as well, because since the blade does flare towards the front, it's not quite a 1-to-1 ratio there, but I still think you got a little bit of that going on. The D2 steel provides great edge retention in this price range, that sub $50 point. You're still not going to find anything better than D2 for your edge retention, which is saying a lot. That's a lot of capability for sure. Not stainless, semi-stainless, so keep it clean, and it should take care of you quite nicely. I will say one thing to watch out for, though, are these large thumb studs right there. They do work quite easily. There it is in the closed position. The blade opens very easily, but because the height of the blade here at the heel is so narrow, you have to get a little bit creative when you go to sharpen it, actually. If you want to maintain just a 20 degree angle here at the heel, you will actually be bumping up onto that thumb stud. So you're going to have to come in at a pretty extreme angle to pull that off. So just keep that in mind if this design speaks to you, because I think the shape is excellent. Again, just watch out for that little foible right there, but good value, good materials for the money. Last but not least, we have got a little guy, least in terms of stature though, I will say that. This is a small bladed knife, 1.85 inches on the blade, and it is called the Rate. And immediately what I thought of when I saw this knife, again, the sister company of Kershaw is Zero Tolerance, so my mind immediately went to the ZT22. This is kind of a much more budget-oriented option. So, you know, different kind of blade shapes and different kind of styling for sure, but kind of the same form factor as that knife. Way more affordable though. This should come in right around that $30 point. At that price point, the materials are going to be kind of basic, but very solid, as you would expect from most Kershaw budget knives. And that's certainly no exception here. 8CR series stainless steel is going to give you admirable performance for the money. You've got a stone-washed finish, which is going to hide scratches as you actually use the knife, so it's going to be kept looking better longer, of course. Hollow grind on the blade, bit of a swedge there, and this modified Wharncliffe shape is going to be a fantastic utility blade. Think box cutting, that sort of thing. Really is like a small, almost keychain size box cutter, but not quite keychain size. And I wouldn't actually put it on my keychain, actually. Now that I mentioned that word, I would caution against it because this is an assisted opening knife, and if your keys are banging around and it were to push that flipper tab, it's going to do what an assisted opening knife does. Once you start to push that blade open, the spring is going to take over and then finish the job, and it finishes the job quite admirably. I had to be careful there. There's one thing for folks with larger hands like myself that I worry about with this knife, just like I did with the ZT22, is I did kind of cut myself on that particular knife when it first came out. So just keep the flesh of your thumb away from the edge and you'll be just fine. The handle is stainless steel. We've got a very sturdy frame lock right there. The lockup is superb. I've got no wiggle whatsoever. Very nice to see at that price especially. And a deep carry pocket clip, which is reversible for either side. Now, as far as the actual feel in the hand, I haven't mentioned that yet. About a 2.5 finger grip, as you can see from the average sized finger grooves right there, and that lines up in my hand as well when I use it. Still feels pretty secure. In fact, there's a decent amount of grip there, and especially in a pinch grip, this feels exceptionally secure to me, because then I can engage my ring finger fully on that blade for even more stability. If you want a little bit more, you do have an exposed lanyard hole here at the back. In fact, it looks, it's injection molded. It looked almost like G10 there for a second, but a very easy place to place a fob that you could wrap your pinky around for a little bit of extra rigidity and security. All right, that's all I've got to show you today. If you're interested in any of them, check out the links in the description, and they should be shipping real soon if they're not shipping already by the time we post this video, but at the very least, you can get your order in and it should be shipping very, very quickly. I hope. Soon. Keep sticking around on our channel. Make sure to check out all our Blade Show coverage. That's the first weekend in June. We're going to be there all 3 days. We're going to see a lot of cool new stuff, and we hope to see you here on the channel as well. That's it, though. Check out the links in the description if you're interested in those knives. Don't forget about our Knife Rewards program, because you can earn some free money to spend on your next knife when you pick one of these up today. I'm David C. Anderson from the KnifeCenter, soon to be at Blade Show. That's Thomas behind the camera, and we'll see you next time.